Hello, watchers, gods, and runners of the time stream. Nod to the whisperers on your right, nod to the recruiters on your left. Grab a chair, conjure a table, and join us to talk about all things the dungeon run. Uh, Two things right off the bat. I have a webcam, which is exciting. So I have a new setup. I don't look great today, but I have a new setup. And the second full disclosure is I am not feeling well today. I actually had to leave work early today. I had an alarm set so I would wake up in time for this. So Corbin Plate, I appreciate you for your health potion. That really made me feel better already. So I'm really happy. I just may not be showing it as much as I usually do. So yeah, with that said, guys, this episode, it had a lot of emotions for me. But before we get straight up into the episode, I want to remind everybody, Forest Elf, Lazy Pixie, everybody, thank you. Any donations or any props or anything that is given to the show gets put right back into the Dungeon Run stream we all know and love. It goes right back into the Dungeon Run, into the form of potatoes, balloons, whatever. But so yeah, everything is for the show. So we appreciate it, and we love you guys, all of you. The other thing I want to remind you, announcement-wise, is I've been sucking at posting it and promoting it as much as I want to, but we do have a contest going on right now, and the prompt is basically to promote the land of Ain. You can do that through videos, you can do that through songs, any type of format. The only thing that as a qualifier is just promote the world. You have so many different ways to do that. And to give you guys an example, because we know we've showed examples of videos before, our sponsor for today is a different type of possible submission. Ingrid, tell them about our sponsor for this video.
Our sponsor today goes out to all the bards that are looking for work. This is a little jingle that they like to have just as kind of like their resume to send out to parties that are looking for a new recruit. And so this is called The Beneficial Bard, and I am dedicating it to the very talented lyric writing Katie Michaels. She was my inspiration to write this from our last episode that we had. Now, why would one bother with hiring a bard? Most know them for lore and entertaining, but there's more to their repertoire. Learning new skills requires time and grit. A bard is a quick study once they commit. Initially a healer that can inspire anyone to fight against all odds with a really bad pun. Sneaky rogues find insecure points to enter, as well as swipe treasures from a well-guarded center. A bard can negotiate entry with witty charm, imprinting memories that can twist any foe's arm. In battle, inspiration and healing are just the start. Musical vibrations are a distractive art, a stroke of the strings or a shattering scream. A bard can fabricate the most terrifying dream. So as you interview for a new party member, you have many choices, but we hope you remember, we can spread rumors of your party in the best light. We look forward to receiving your immediate invite.
Holy crap, Ingrid! Oh my god, that was beautiful!
Thank you.
Lyrics, voice-wise, tone, oh my god, I'm giving you a 1 out of 10 Failwaffles and a 10 out of 10 malls.
Hey!
That was really beautiful. Do you mind posting that in the Watch Party channel when we're done? Because that's really...
I can do that. Yeah.
That was beautiful. And shout out to Katie Michaels for giving her inspiration to sing that beautiful song. Oh. Yep. So yes, that is also a very touching example of just one of the many, many, many ways you can submit in the contest. It could be anything. Girl, I kind of wish you submitted that for your thing too, because that was beautiful.
I do these every week. This is my job on here. I try to come up with the
No,
good commercials.
it was beautiful. That was really. I'm thrown off because that was so beautiful.
Oh,
So yeah, so let's get to the episode now that I've been completely swept off my feet. Um, opening thoughts. Opening thoughts for this episode. I'm just gonna throw a couple of thoughts. I know we probably won't get too talking wise in our conversation. So they didn't open the obelisk. James decided to destroy it. I think that was a mistake. I think they should open it. Um, lots of boats, lots of crossbows, lots of a little bit of floundering around, lots of fun laughs, a lot of bonding from the characters. I had a lot of self reflection on this episode, a lot. I thought I've had a lot of different ways, but I want to read two comments of people that I was talking to about the episode because I think it really defines overall what this episode was for the most part. This one was from the Raven Queen. She said it's good to have a lighthearted day after an intense moment in D&D. Gives them time to think about what just happened and also keep building the relationships and growing. And this is another one from Ages 13. He said, I love that they're willing to make the time to let the story unfold on its own pace and let the characters play around a bit. Not many mediums allow for storytelling to do that. And I think that's true. I think overall I'm going to give this episode 5.9. 5.9. Opening thoughts. Go, Ingrid. Go, go, go.
I think it was a really fun episode that we all just got to enjoy and kind of just blow off some steam. There were a lot of really intense moments over the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes that, they needed to have an episode where they just kind of goof off a little bit. There was still a lot of good storyline and character development in this particular episode, but it was just a really fun filled episode that everyone just they just needed to blow off some steam and make some jokes and be lighthearted. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was the right kind of timing for a funny episode or a silly episode. So I do give it a 9.9 out of 10 malls,
9 out
just
of 10.
because. Yeah, I really liked it. There was some points in there that I just absolutely loved, and so we'll get to those in a little bit.
I did too. And girl, we're getting to them. We will. Dadpool in the chat booed my rating. Someone said that it was. I'm just going to read some of the ratings. There was a 7.5, 6.9, 9.9. Lily Dumblestut fan gives it 100 out of 10, especially for Lily's song. Lots of different ratings for this episode, so I found that interesting. And don't. Okay, so I should also clarify my rating so that everybody is on the same page, at least on how I rate. So 5 is average, not good, not bad. Anything below average, again, is bad. Anything above 5 is good. And again, with our mall rating, a 1 is just you just want to hit yourself on the head for watching the episode, and a 10 is a solid perfect. You want to hit everyone who doesn't watch it. So 5.9 is still a good episode on my scale. I think it's important that people do see that. But yeah, it could have been better for me, but it had so many really, really beautiful moments. So let's dive in. One of the things that stood out for me, one of the things I like to do is I like to see what people naturally bring up on the Discord and what stands out for them. And there was one thing that really stood out to me that hardly was talked about all week, and I wanted to itch it so bad. So I want to point out, because I saw him here, I saw them there, Arcana Rebel. You were the only one who pointed this out on the Discord, and I think it was today. Fahima's ability to heal was such a big part of this episode for me. So Fahima, the way that I perceive Fahima and her character is she's very thirsty for knowledge. I think when Fahima started this journey, she was very much neutral. She just wanted to learn, she wanted to grow, she wanted to see what was out in the world. Learning new spells and learning new things is huge for her. So, what happened was, throughout her character development, she was starting to notice that she could learn and do things that's more on a destructive side. Fire in general is considered very destructive to a lot of people. She can destroy, but she can't build. When they found the book for the Ashen Mage, she could learn these dark spells pretty easily. She's already successfully learned a few. It's something that she can grasp and learn. And on top of that, as far as how people perceive her, uh, again, she's been able to do dark things, but not good things. Like, for example, when it comes to the pit, she tried to take the lead. She tried to be the leader. It didn't work. It backfired. And what did Ugo tell her? You're powerful. You have magic, you have fire. That's what you're good at. Long behold, later she used her power and kind of took out the halflings. But even in her argument with Lily, I think Fahima finds herself justifying her dark habits. Like when she was arguing with Lily, she said, "Say it, Lily. Fire. I'm fire." She's trying to come to terms with who she thinks she is, and that's more towards a darker streak. But today in this episode, maybe we clearly see a problem with how she got there, but she could heal, and she was so excited about it. She could finally do something good in her mind. She not only do good, but heal. Lily can heal. Lily is the epitome of good. And the fact she named the spell Spare, again, after being able to save the Achirai, something good that she has done. I think it was a beautiful step for Fahima in realizing that she inherently isn't a bad, dark person. And I think that this episode shows that maybe she's teetering a little back towards the middle now rather than just veering towards the dark. I think she's found a new confidence in herself. She's seeing that she can do good. And later in the episode, when she helps Civ learn a spell, just how happy she was. I mean, Fahima was able to teach something like her father used to teach her. She brought a smile to Civ's face. She did something good. I just thought that was so beautiful. And I'm very happy for Fahima. I think JLP played it really well. She was just so excited, genuinely, and she even brought it up 3 different times. So I just thought that was really beautiful and definitely one of the highlights of the episode for me.
The only thing I worry about is I understand that she wants to seek out more knowledge and everything. And granted, mostly everything that has been available to her and spell wise or knowledge wise or any of that stuff has been kind of on the dark magic type of side kind of a thing. I mean, I worry that just because that's the only thing that's available to her, is that the path that she is going to take. I see that, yes, she wants to teach and she wants to heal, but sometimes the way you go about something, even if it is supposed to be good, can actually not be a very good thing. And it worries me that she is going down a path that even Ugo is seeing this now, and he was like, can you not do necromancy spells kind of a thing? He mentioned that last episode, like, can we make a pact? It was kind of like also like, don't summon a demon, James, kind of a thing. But like, can we just make those kind of promises right now? So I mean, Ugo's already starting to see that Fahima is realizing there's a lot of power in things, but at the same time, it's like, you're going down the wrong. You're going about it kind of the wrong way. Like, you're gaining the power that you want. You are learning a lot, which is great, but you're learning the wrong stuff. And so, what really actually bothers me about all of that is that she's justifying it, that she's okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, and don't misunderstand me. I'm kind of like taking it out of context, and I was just specifically focusing on her excitement, just the ability to heal.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that, like I said, I think that definitely changes her character's perspective of what she can do.
Right.
I 100% agree with you, and in fact, it seems like Fahima's going down the same path as James in the sense of using something bad to do something good.
Yeah. And I can see how she would go down that path because she can kind of considers James as like a father figure.
Yeah,
And
she
so
does.
she's been following kind of in his footsteps in that way, but she's kind of like taking it a little bit darker, in my opinion, because we don't really know how dark James can get, although summoning a demon's really pretty dark. But like it just worries me that she is now justifying it, and James is maybe James as he's doing his whole character development right now of acknowledging, what I have done is probably not a good idea, and I'm trying to make better decisions with it. And should I even bother continuing down this path of a warlock making a pact with sloppy goats and all that stuff? So maybe Fahima will learn from that and go, maybe I should seek out other ways, other types of spells.
Well, see, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that, which is where I thought that the party, by the way, was the one who messed up in this situation. Just like we talked about extensively in the past about how it's the party's somewhat, responsibility to help Civ not go down that dark path. I feel that's the same with Fahima. Now, I
Yep.
understand James struggled a little bit because for him, he doesn't want to come off hypocritical, saying, don't do something bad to do something good. Oh, well, I know it's because he even said, I know it's
Yeah.
weird for me, but be careful. But
Right.
Lily and Ugo, and I mean, I think that they're not stopping her. And so in her mind, okay, why not keep going? I mean, no one's addressing any major concerns with it. They kind of looked at it sideways. James implied he didn't like it, but no one actually sit down with her and said, "Look, Bahima, we need to talk." Like they're
Right.
just kind of like, "Congrats, cool."
Yeah, like I think Ugo will probably address it very soon. Like he'll do an outright addressing of it whenever there's something that's blatantly obvious, and he goes, "Oh, that's not right. We probably shouldn't do that." And then Lily's probably going to take a deeper look at it, but she has a lot of stuff to process still right now. So maybe that's just not on the top of her list. But I think whenever she gets through processing some of these things, that maybe she'll go, "Oh, I need to go be mama to Fahima." Like she has done in the past. She's sat down with Fahima a few times and said, "Okay, we need to look at this and see if this is really a good idea or not. How do you feel about this?"
Well, this could probably be our prediction question then, because I disagree with you. I think if anyone's going to say anything about it, it will be Civ. Especially when Civ, when he came back, he didn't want to rain on their happy parade, but he stated, this is a conversation for another time. But he
That
didn't
is true.
necessarily express happiness about it, so I think it's going to be Civ who's going to
I
sit down with Fahima.
I feel like it's going to be Ugo that voices the actually does a firm voicing of concern, but Lily that does the talking through.
I guess we'll find out who's right in our predictions. But overall, that was a very interesting scene. I think it was definitely a highlight in many different ways to see. And Sean, I agree with you. I don't remember his exact wording, but Sean Patrick in chat said it's not healing; it's more of transferring life forms because Fahima has to hurt herself. And I
Yeah.
agree. Like I said, I think that them not really addressing that was kind of a problem. But I'm talking through Fahima's perspective, the young, learning. She's excited. No one told her otherwise. And so I think, but it was a beautiful moment for Fahima. And I really sat there with her on that one. And it was beautiful.
Well,
Uh,
Lily did say let's make that like a last resort type healing, you know.
yeah, but Lily likes to sugarcoat things.
True.
Like, let's not discuss why it has to be a last minute resort healing. Let's just say it is, call it a day. Um,
Yeah.
not the best way to communicate, Lily. I love you, um, but the next, I think, important, most amazing, significant part of this entire episode, um, the whole conversation and transformation of Mr. Whispers, the conversation between Fahima and Civ, so
Yes.
beautiful. And this was so beautiful. As soon as I watched it, I had an idea, and we all know what happens when I get ideas. So we actually have a video to show today. This video was collabed with me, Corbin played, and Forrest Elf. We worked really hard to put this video together for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it.
I remember a time when a scrawny little cat was abandoned in a stinking alleyway.
Well, he actually found me when I was left alone in the alleyway.
Mr. Whispers nuzzles up with you, and you just sit there for a minute at peace.
I've been alone for so long. You've always been there for me.
I've been with Civ since he was a very young boy.
You've had him for how long?
Since I was 6. Reach in, and I'm gonna pull out a little mottled brown mouse. Would you mind holding him for a while for me? I'd appreciate it if you would look after him. Do you still have him? Mr. Whisper?
Look inside my coat. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I'm definitely going to check to see if Mr. Whispers even survived all of that.
I'd like to go back into his pocket now, please.
Can you read Mr. Whisper's mind like I can read Meep's mind?
No. This is going to sound strange, but I've always been quite jealous of your relationship with Meep. I think he understands me, but he doesn't say anything back other than squeak.
I want to speak back in his mind.
If we could turn him into a Meep.
I want to help. And you start getting it as you're moving in the rhythm of how her fingers are moving. You see Mr. Whispers in the center of that circle start to glow. And you feel this sensation that you are able to choose.
I will turn him into a crow.
And he is a crow.
Can you understand him?
I think so.
I remember a time when free to do what I desire, share pungent cheese with my tiny friend, and imagine what a hero's life would be. I believe in you. Heroes of me.
He believes in you. He believes you've always had it in you.
You hear in your head, you are never alone.
Oh my gosh. That was amazing.
Why, thank you. We both surprised each other today.
Oh my gosh. I felt my heartstrings being pulled in so many ways.
I know there was definitely a lot of funniness and exchange in that scene, but as soon as he said that you were never alone in the episode, I was like, I need this. Because I really feel that the relationship between Civ and Mr. Whispers has been one of the most understated relationships on the show, but definitely there and definitely important, and I'm so happy that that it's coming out now, that Mr. Whispers is becoming more of a spotlight. I'm curious to Jeff, and I'll ask him eventually, when he decided to have him be part of the story, because I don't think it was always intended that way. I can totally tell that was something Jeff added in. But I just love their relationship, and I'm honestly so excited to see what's going to happen and where it's going to go from here. Now that he can understand Mr. Whispers, now that we know about some type of innate power, now that we know that Mr. Whispers has a bigger stake in the game, I'm so excited to see where it's going to go. Truly amazing. And how do we not talk about the fact that, all right, Mr. Whispers' voice is pretty dang sexy.
Oh, man. I think that was the moment in time that I finally realized, Whitebeard to Failwaffle is Mr. Whispers to me.
You did say that.
He is my man now. I am in love with a mouse. It's weird. I understand. But how can you not? With all the things that he's done so far, how he is with Civ. I mean, that is a lot of loyalty and care there. And oh my gosh, that voice that melts like butter. Oh, yay. He's good.
All right, girl. All right. Do you need some of my water?
Oh, no, I got my own here.
Okay, just checking. I think that it was very nice, and I feel my favorite part about the comedic wise was when Fahima said, you sound very mature. And he's just like, that's one way to put it. He's just, yeah, that whole exchange is amazing. That entire scene was amazing. But going back to kind of the seriousness about it, how can you not point out how sad but also happy and surprised that Civ was? Jared does such a good job at really staying in character and really playing the emotions raw, and I loved it. It was really beautiful. So yeah, it's just, I love that scene. I think like I said, even for Fahima, it meant so much to all three of them, and I just can't
Right.
wait to see where it's gonna go.
She really wanted to definitely help with teaching him a new spell. I mean, that's amazing that he's doing spells now. Like, what? But like, just for her to have that extra bit of being able to help, just like her dad. Her dad was
Yep.
teaching her magic, and she wants to impart that kind of knowledge onto other folks. Like, anytime Ugo asked about how do you do certain things in magic, she was so excited about showing Ugo, this is how I do it. And Ugo's like, yeah, that looks complicated. Well, Civ is able to be a quicker study on things, at least for these certain kinds of spells. So I thought that was a really precious moment just between those two.
Well, it's like you said too. I think that's part of his innate power. I love the way Jeff's description. Can we just take a second to shout out again, as usual, how just of a beautiful storyteller he is? But yeah, when he was saying how at first it's hard for you to read, but then, I mean, I think it's to show that his innate power was really stepping in, and that's what made it easy for him to do those type of spells. Not to mention the very end of that, when Sid was so happy. He said Lily tasted like honeysuckle. That was just so cute. You could tell Sim was racking his brain like, how do I repay this woman? Oh,
Perfect.
she always
Perfect
wants to know
repayment.
about that.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
it was such a love, it was such a loving, like, bond in their relationship moment, and it was just very well done. I give that scene a 9 out of 10. I do. That scene was beautiful. Yeah, I just can't with that scene. Um, so then they decide to go. Finally, I was also sitting in chat wondering when the heck they were going to go back to the boat. They were just taking up all the time they could for sure. But I really should learn to be careful what I wish for, because as they got back to the boat, Whitebeard is not on a roll these last couple of episodes, and Merva's taking the boat. I just can't. A part of me doesn't buy it. You guys should have seen Dyson Capes and I going back and forth before we went live. I just don't buy it. A part of me thinks that there's something else in play here. I don't know if I buy that so
I
many
can
of
agree
his.
with that. He's a 10-year-old.
Yeah, and yeah, I just don't think so many of those men so quickly would jump ship. I just think there's something else,
There's gotta
something
be
else
something
there.
else in there. Because, I mean, Jeff's always got things up his sleeve, but a 10-year-old taking over a ship, convincing these pirates who willingly will get whipped for really good treasure. How can this 10-year-old manage to make that possible? That's my only thing, is how can he offer just as great as Whitebeard, but put it up? I mean, easily you don't whip your employees. That's easy, but how can you give just as much payout and such and adventure? You're
Mm.
10. I'm sorry. And honestly, knowing Mervis from later on, it just doesn't really add up. Like,
Yeah, and I know some people are debating, and it's fair, that some of the crew that knew him very well, and Shea Berry in chat said that she would leave if she was getting whipped and all that stuff. You know what? Fair. I think maybe I'm just butthurt because Whitebeard. At the end of the day, I just feel, I don't know. I would have stayed. I'm sitting next to Loudmouth, and we chilling on the hashtag loyalty boat thing. But I feel like I still stand by it. There's more. I don't think Jeff is done with the story. I don't think that's it. And then we go back to the timeline. I think there's more to the party. I think there's more. So
yeah,
stay
I'll agree
tuned.
with you on this one. It's not just because of loyalty to Whitebeard. It's just we're missing something here, because it just doesn't seem like it just doesn't seem like that is a plausible explanation of what happened. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm wondering, are we going to go after Mervis or are we going to Bingle?
I think that depends on what they decide to say or lie or do with the hag situation for sure. But I do find it interesting that the party solution was to, instead of dealing with the hag, we'll throw Whitebeard off and distract him by just bringing him back men, because that wasn't something they were instructed to do. That's what they chose to do. And so they went to the pits, which I want to point out real quick that it was hilarious when you and I did our predictions last week. You said that they were going to investigate the relationship between the lighthouse and the pits. And I was like, I think they're going to be too busy. Now, I was right, but I didn't think they were going to go to the pits and still not ask about it. So it was hilarious. But you know me, I'll take a win any day.
Yeah.
But when it
they didn't even ask anything. Nothing.
No, they really didn't.
Like, I thought whenever Civ went up to the front desk and he was like, I need to talk to you guys about something in particular, I was like, oh, now's the moment. Nope. We're just going to try and do a bribery here. And I'm like, ugh, come on. You guys were so curious about this. Even James, I'm really flabbergasted that James was like, I'm not even going to ask any questions here. I'm going to go and do all this other stuff like Civ asked me to.
And to be fair, Ingrid, I think you and I may be the only ones that were sitting there like, are they going to do it? Forrest Elf in chat said, I completely forgot the relationship between the pit and the lighthouse. And I feel you and I were just like, are they going to do it? But I feel like a lot of people were just like, who cares? It's not important. But you and I, man, we were ready to find out. But they did decide to do the tactic of recruiting him, and that's what they were focused on, recruiting for Whitebeard. I loved their tactic. I actually thought that their approach to doing this was really fun and really cute. Civ knows what he's doing when it comes to this kind of thing.
Oh, of course.
I also wanted to ask you how you felt. I know we differ in this. What else is new? I was so confused. Although everybody here knows that I love Elry. For the record, Jeff creating Elry inspired me to be a halfling in my next D&D game if there ever is one. But I don't see why they want her to join Whitebeard. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You like her, right? And why do you want her to join Whitebeard's crew? This is talking from the perspective of the party. Why do you want her to join the crew? It makes no sense to me.
She would be a great asset. I mean, she is tough, super tough as nails, and she is ready to stand for whatever she feels is right. And you know, if it seems like she likes to have kind of a fame or maybe a lot of treasure, that's why she sticks around at the pits, is because she's made a name for herself. Well, if she joins forces with Whitebeard and becomes a well-known name that way, I could see the fame that way. But I really think she would be a great asset on the ship. The only thing is she's technically already spoken as dead to Whitebeard, so they were kind of trying to force it a little bit that they wanted Elry to come despite that, and it was I kind of liked how they went about it a little bit, but at the same time, it kind of felt kind of forced. But I was really hoping that she'd go anyways.
I was happy she didn't go. I know that's what they wanted, and I do know there was a tiny bit of metagaming in there for sure. And again, I love Elry, but I'm ultimately glad she didn't. If anything, Ogo's explanation made sense to me, and it was logical. He cares about her well-being, and who knows how my man would feel if he brought on someone that he thought was dead. Not only would that hurt the relationship with the party, but he might hurt Elry for that, just for lying, being part of the lie, for all we know. My man doesn't like being lied to, so no one does.
And he could probably break through all that deception anyways. He's a really intelligent individual that, Lily is really good at being able to disguise folks. And
but the extra effort they would go through would just be ridiculous, in my opinion. But I did love Lily Dumblestuck fans' comment that said, Lily's ready for more female representation on the ship. Hilarious. True. But I'm sure there are more women there for sure. I really like Elry, and she's already not having a good couple of days. I'm just glad at the end of the day they listened to Ugo's logic and just kind of left it be. And I do hope they come across another timeline. I know a lot of people actually
Right.
ship Ellery and Ugo, which I kind of it's a little cute. But I hope so. I do. That whole scene really was fun. It was even though I agreed and didn't want her to go on the ship at the end of the day, it was just beautiful. It was part of the heart lighted moments that I really did enjoy. Um, Plus, Ellery's really cute. I really love Ellery.
I don't
Um,
know. What would we call Ellery and Ugo's relationship? El
I don't
Rogo?
know. I don't know. Let's discuss it in the Discord because I can't come up with anything creative right on the spot. I think it'll be interesting to see how Whitebeard interprets their move of bringing back crewmates. I can see him being grateful, but also at the same time, guys, my man likes to be in charge and he likes to know what's going on. I don't think he's going to take it at first too well with them just saying we brought back people. He didn't assign them to bring back people, so I can see him having an issue with it. I know he'll get over it, but I'm just like, I wonder why they do what they do sometimes. But they don't know my man as well as I do, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle the Sea Hag as well. They're pretty openly the Sea Hag stuff is now circulating, and Whitebeard wants interaction with the Sea Hag. So it'll be very interesting to see how that consequence finally hits them, in my opinion. It's long overdue for them to have some kind of consequence for that. Yes, Sean Patrick, I agree with you. They need some kind of consequences for the halflings, and I'm hoping that whatever comes in this scenario is going to be something for them. Briba asked, didn't Loudmouth ask them to recruit people? Not that I know. He asked them to go talk to the hag, and the party decided to go recruit people instead because there's no hag to talk to. That's my understanding.
Loudmouth made mention that he is needing more crew because they now have lost half of the crew, or they needed to split it between two ships. They needed more crew anyways. So I know,
Yes.
I remember Loudmouth saying something about needing more crew, and
He
so
did.
it's like,
But
if
they
you're
didn't.
out
He
and
didn't tell them
about-
to get it.
I think it was kind of a, if you're out and about, you know, and you still happen to notice somebody, ask them to come along. Not like directly go and find us crew.
Apparently, the chat is saying he did ask them, and if they did, my bad. I thought he told them to go check the hag. That was what I thought he told them to do. Someone cut to a clip and check it out? I don't know. Whatever, we can look it up later. But I think he just said go talk to the hag. Go get the hag for me. Like, get the information.
Well, that was definitely the most important thing. I think that was top on the list, and then probably the getting the crew is second on the list.
Akuna Matata says, Loudmouth says a lot, so it's certainly easy to miss. I agree.
Yeah,
that's what we're going with. Everybody wins. It's Loudmouth's fault. But hashtag keep Loudmouth talking.
Too much content. Can't handle it.
I still vote keep Loudmouth talking because he's fantastic. Okay, so last wrap up. Any last comments for this episode before we move on to our trivia?
So sloppy goats equals Voldemort?
Yes, dude, that was my thing. Can't believe I didn't even say that. I can't believe they actually brought a Voldemort into the land of Ain. Like the fact that Civ and Ugo were so we can't say who shall not be named. I think it's absolutely hilarious to me, and I think it's hilarious. Every time they say that, I laugh. Sloppy Goat is pretty great. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your comment. I just got really excited. I totally forgot that.
I expected you entirely to blow up over that because you were the one that talked about Voldemort in the chat during the live stream. So, Sloppy Goats it is.
So funny. It's hilarious. Voldemort seems to find his way everywhere. For me, how can I not mention the NPC who was amazing, the shopkeeper? I absolutely love it, and I really hope Civ and Whitebeard. I know Whitebeard's a little upset, but I really hope he convinces him to go back to that shopkeeper because he is beautiful, and I think that he's going to officiate mine and Whitebeard's wedding. I've decided. Angel Devilson is going to officiate our party in the back, our reception, and he's going to officiate our wedding because I think that's beautiful. Come on, the NPC was lovely. I wish Jeff gave him a name. But
he might. He just might, just for you, I would bet. So that way you can send him a message. Hey, we're getting married on this date. Arrive at this island.
I hope so. Shayberry, you say you call maid of honor? Girl, I'm sorry. If you want to be my maid of honor, you have to join the right team. I know you're titter-tottering, but once you join Team Force of Evil, I'll hand that badge to you, okay? We'll
I
talk.
will never, ever
talk.
get to be one of your bridesmaids then.
It's very rude and insensitive, and I don't know how to take that. But moving right along.
It's just a matter of fact, I will never join Force of Evil. And so I don't get that privilege.
Anyway, we have cookies. Anyway, our next segment is a revival of the trivia. My understanding is one of our guests is having internet issues, but we got to go on anyway. Ingrid, since one of our guests is not here, do you want to take part in it real quick?
Sure.
Be the third. You don't know my questions. You're not involved in my.
I don't know any of these things.
Yeah, so you can be part of it. If you have a paper next to you, you can be part of it.
Yeah. Hold on. I missed if I did it.
Cool. So, for number 52, Clone in the back. You want to bring up the rest of the trivia guests? We can keep the show going. Yes, we have Marvin 17 and Forrest Elf. Oh, he is there. All four of you get to play. That's fine with me. I don't care. I actually am going to keep score this time, though, because that's how evil I am. That's how evil I am. This segment is called Before or After. All the questions are going to be, did one event happen before or after another event? Before we start, does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
I know,
Pretty straightforward.
I'm a pretty great explainer, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go with the fact that I'm great, but whatever. Question number 1, because who doesn't start all their trivias off this way? Did Whitebeard drag a Yonti across the bar before or after slamming a Yonti's face on a table? And I expect an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Marvin. Ooh, after, before. Ooh, it is after.
Yeah.
First thing he did was he grabbed someone by his whip and slammed him on the table. It was the very first thing he did in that. Because everybody loves Whitebeard, kind of. Question number 2. I had James on the mind when I wrote these questions, so a lot of them are very James-oriented. Did James yell at his Patreon before or after Stranger's Fate? I'll repeat it. Did James yell at his Patreon before or after Stranger's Fate? I want you guys to give me your answers all at the same time next time, okay? But once before, you guys are right. It was before. See, starting off easy. Question number 3. Did Civ have the fruitcake before or after a go? Gotta love that fruitcake action. Ooh, and no cheating and looking in chat, everybody.
There's a
I
chat.
thought we were waiting to go together.
Yeah, you are supposed to be waiting to go together, but 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, it is before. Civ was the first person to get the fruitcake.
For some reason, I was thinking it was Akko.
It's fine. This happens. My favorite. This is one of my favorites. Did James cast Sending to the Dragon before or after his sending to Erdenfurt? Ooh, chat actually has very different answers for this one. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. It was before. He sent the message to the dragon before sending it to Erdenfurt, but they were very close together. Okay, this is a hard one. In the Castle Rum, did James de-age Civ before or after the party found the kitchen knife? Ooh. I love when chat gives me different answers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, you guys think he DH Civ? Yes, it was after. Okay, the chat was saying before, and I was like getting confused. See, you guys are actually rocking this trivia. Look at you guys go. Okay, when talking to the sexy bartender, did Ugo give him 1,500 gold before or after becoming blood brothers? Ooh. Did he give him 1,500 gold before or after becoming blood brothers? And 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, it was after. Blood brothers with who? The sexy bartender. The sexy bartender. You guys are actually still doing pretty dang good. You're doing better than I thought you would. Next, in the attack of the orcs, did the party see Gregorio, did I say that right, before or after going to the cannon? And 1, 2, 3, go. It was a trick question. He did see them before. They watched him, they stared at him, and then went to the cannon. That was a trick question. At least I got one person. This one's a fun one, again, because I'm with Sean Patrick. We should always be talking about the halflings. In the Sea Hag's rescue, did Lily try to persuade one of the halflings to work it out before or after Civ tried to hit them with the butt of his rapier? Did Lily try to work it out with them before or after Civ tried to hit them with the back of the rapier? Chat is on point. No cheating, Marvin.
That's where my camera is.
And 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, after.
Oh no!
Yep. Civ hit him first. It's a fun one. Okay, we're down to the last 3 questions. In Noble Blood, did the Lord of Crows attack before or after the Wicker Man? Ingrid, I love your thinking face. Ooh, this is very interesting. Chat is all over the right and wrong answers. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, Ingrid, you were the only one to get it right. Lord of Crows attacked. Lord of Crows attacked first. The first thing he did was charge at Civ and did a crow attack. Ooh, go Ingrid. Second to last question. Did Civ suggest telling Chilron and his family... Okay, correct that. Did Civ suggest selling Chilron and his family to the Shaz and Gao before or after Whitebeard suggested it? So again, because I can't talk today, did Civ suggest selling Chilron and his family to the Shaz and Gao before or after Whitebeard suggested it? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I knew you'd say all that. Marvin for the only win. It was before. Sid was the first one who brought it up, not Whitebeard. I want all of you guys to let that sink in there for a second. That had the exact effect I wanted it to. Last question. I threw this in here for Forest Elf. You guys ready for this one? Did Civ profess his love for Lily before or after Ugo? Did Civ profess his love for Lily before or after Ugo? And 1, 2, 3, go. Yay! Everybody got that one right. Congratulations! You guys actually did pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped keeping score, so when I I'm not feeling well, I get a pass. But when I watch back, I will legitimately keep score and say who the winner is. But You're all of you beautiful people are number 2 in my book. And yes, Raven Queen, I am a Failwaffle, so I have to do something. But how was that? Was that fun? Did you guys have fun?
It was a lot of fun.
Hey, who do you guys think won? Does anyone know? Did any of you get them all right?
I missed 2.
I think all of you got some wrong. I was at
Yeah.
least paying attention to that.
I'm pretty sure it was Vanderslive.
Oh, I don't know. Ingrid, look at you. You might have won. That's exciting. I will legitimately.
Trivia ever, because if you give me names or places, I'm screwed.
Well, you did pretty good this time. I will tell you guys the winner. Thank you guys for coming on, though. That was fun and exciting. And I know the community in chat, because you guys couldn't read it, everyone was saying they love getting to learn and see your guys' beautiful faces. So thank you guys for joining. Maybe you will join me again. And I love you guys. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
That was fun. 3 out of 10 Failwaffles. Good job. Yeah, in fact, I really thought you guys were going to do all right. It was funny because chat actually got half the chat got the right answers, and I think there's only one the chat was in unison in the whole time, so that was really fun. We have to go to our last segment today, which I'm actually really excited for. Today's special guest hails from Australia. Finally got a day to work out for him to come on. Can everybody welcome the amazing, the charming BeakerPar?
Hey.
G'day, how we
Hey,
doing?
Dave. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very, very well. I've got to try to make sure I look at my screen and not on the TV screen that's over there.
I do it wrong I still haven't got it down, so it doesn't matter. But I do want to point out, so for everyone who doesn't know a Dave already, we all know a Dave, okay? There are so many Daves in this community, though. It's ridiculous.
We've known a day for quite a while.
Yeah, I know. We've known exactly. So excited to have you on. It's about time.
It is. We've tried, we've failed, we've tried, we've failed, we've tried, we've failed.
But we're here. So why don't you tell everybody how and what got you into the dungeon run? Because for those who don't know you.
Okay, so with the dungeon run, I've got a good mate that's in the States, and what we do is we coordinate to watch shows together. So we did Game of Thrones for a bit. We also did a few other one-shot D&D shows together. And they go through and say to me, hey, I've got a show, you want to sit down and watch it? Okay, jump in on the 4th episode, I think. I sat down and watched it live and went, wow, that was really good. We now need to go back and watch the first 3. And basically did that in a Saturday. Just kind of went, did it in a Saturday or in a weekend anyway, and just got caught up. And then every Saturday since then, it was kind of the, we'd sit down, watch it together, because I'm in Australia. I can't watch it live except for about 10 weeks a year when I'm actually off. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, this is going to be similar to Dyson Capes. BeakerPar and I, he was one of the first members of this community that I spoke to, so we know each other pretty dang well by now. But I want you to tell everybody what storyline or what moment hooked you, because you said the first 3 and it was really good, but was there a moment, because I like to know for everybody, that really hooked you into the story where you're like, this is my show long term?
I'm not 100% sure there was actually a moment. I just more the story itself all the way through has been really, really wonderful. But it's not necessarily moments that stick out. It's just the way that the cast gets into it. So for starters, it was my friend was into it, so I was into it, and then.
But then that would be your moment, though. The storytelling. The
storytelling kind of going through. And then I really dove in when I actually got to go through, and part of it was the Discord, part of it was being live and just going through and seeing what that was like, and then jumping into the Discord and talking things out. So it was more the community that really got me into the show, and then the show getting me into it's just a kind of all-together thing.
It was a full package for you.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it so much. So then, Vanderslive, you don't know BeakerPar really well. Do you have any questions specifically for him?
So, just just getting a kind of an understanding. What time is it whenever the show starts in your area? Just I'm curious. I don't know how Australia time works over there.
Okay, so
You're on the other side of the world from me, and I've always wanted to go to Australia, but I kind of want to know what time it is over there.
it is currently just about to go midday. The show generally starts at about 11 a.m., depending on time differences and stuff. So in winter, for me, it starts at about 11 a.m. In summer, it starts at about 1 p.m.
Oh, you guys don't have daylight savings, do you?
We do have daylight savings. Yeah,
so you watch it Thursdays when we watch it Wednesdays.
Yes. I would watch it on a Thursday when you guys watch it on a Wednesday. So it's currently Wednesday lunchtime. I'm on holiday mode, so I'm actually starting to forget days, which is really, really bad. But yeah, so that's kind of when it actually is. At Gorbin Play, we do speak English. We just kind of speak a slightly weird version of it, as you can kind of hear and see. But yeah, so that's kind of how that part works. The premieres, I don't think I ever really kind of got up at something like 2 o'clock in the morning to watch a premiere, though. Just,
Oof.
yeah, that they're well and truly too early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Katrin, our beloved Katrin in the community, does amazing time. She's there. It's like 3 in the morning. That girl's pretty great. Maybe she'll come on here at like 4 in the morning her time, because I know she lives in Germany. Who knows? So then tell us what's your favorite plot story then? What's your favorite plot story or your favorite storyline or character?
Mine, it drifts all the way through, so that's kind of a little bit strange. But going through watching James go through and handle the different things that he goes through and his different conflicts has been really, really interesting and fun to go through and just see from where he's gone to where he is, and then watching Morgan comment at times in the Discord and just kind of go through and give you those little glimpses and those little gleams of what's going to happen within his story is always very, very interesting. The Civ Lily thing at times is brilliant as well.
Like their romance?
The romance part of it, the romance going through with that is always just will it, won't it? I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, so you kind of go through, you've got that bit happening.
So wait, do you ship them?
For the most part, I do. I think I was starting to go through. I think when it was first happening, I was kind of leaning towards the Uggo and Lily thing, just because you've got two really, really caring, and I think Lily would help Uggo grow. But the more I see that interplay of Civ and Lily, the more I'm kind of going, yeah, that's kind of working, and I'm quite happy with it.
Okay. I thought it was funny because you said hopeless romantic, but there was a little bit of a question in there, a little doubt placed in there for sure.
Probably more on the hopeless side than the romantic, but hey, it works.
What is your opinion of Whitebeard? I have to ask.
My opinion on Whitebeard.
Yeah, be very careful. Just kidding.
I already know I'm in trouble. It's just the depth that varies. My opinion on Whitebeard is that talented pirate, absolute scoundrel. I don't want to go anywhere near him with a 10-foot barge pole. So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
I think that's smart. I give that answer 1 out of 10 Failwaffles for sure. I do want to say that you have, we won't talk about it here, but you have a very beautiful Whitebeard Mervis theory that I'm in love with at this moment, and I'm hoping you can take the time to put it in the no cast zone so that people can enjoy it along with me, if you would be so kind.
I will do so. So we'll kind of leave that as a little bit of a tease for the Discord.
Tease, because it's such a good theory, and I'm buying it. I'm hooked in it. Hook, line, and sinker, because I love it so much.
So what's a place that you hope that we revisit again?
That's a good question.
Turles. Straight up Turles. I want to go through and see James go back there, and part of it's close some holes. Part of it's to go through and see how much he's changed and grown from where he was at the start to where he is now. And free Jorl.
Yeah, free Jorl. Yeah.
There's so much in Turles that's been There you go. She's representing. No, there's so
Exactly.
much in Turles that is left untold. Everything you said, Free Jorel, what's going on with Besh? Did these murders stop? They were literally still hijacking stuff from the library by the time they left. Who's framing them? Because we never figured out who framed them in the first place. Now that
Right.
we know James's secret, what's going to happen with that? How is he going to approach it? There's so much left untold.
There
in
is
Turles.
like down to the whole fact, was it Erdenfurt that was behind it, or is it the Ashen Mage? Is it a combination of both, that Erdenfurt wants certain books to go through and further his particular studies?
Someone
As
we
far
don't
as the
even know
science
yet.
side, is it the Ashen Mage going through and getting the illicit knowledge to go through and build her spell books up as well? And then how much it fed out into bargain?
Yes, and Forsyth, good point. She said, don't forget about the treasure. The whole treasure that they're trying to find right now is also in Turles. Like,
Yes.
why is
That is
Turles
what they are.
not one of their hotspots?
Well, they are
It's
quite far away from it last they left the map, so
Yeah, well,
and I think it will be something that they will get back to, but it's the whole, this domino had to fall, this domino's got to fall, this domino's got to fall before we can go through and get back to it. So
I know. I'm just really impatient because think about it. We haven't been back to Turles since episode 14, 13, something
gosh, that was
very.
so long ago. That was a year ago.
yep.
It was. Yes, it's so long. So I 100% agree with you. I think Turles is so. Let me counter that question. If it couldn't be Turles or anything in Turles, what is the one other thing? Or I'll just say mine first, and then you can say yours. I think besides everything in Turles, or including stuff in Turles, the one thing I really want them to just get to is just rescue Torvald already. Okay, really? Come on.
Torvald and Diptha, yeah, going through and working out what's happening with Diptha as well will be something that is very, very interesting. I'm excited to get back to the Forges, but that's just more of kind of going through and it's like, we're there, we've got another Kanata cliffhanger, and it wasn't as intended as it has become, but it's literally that whole, Jeff's excited to go through and get back there, the cast's excited to go through and get back there, but we can't. So it would be nice when it kind of clears up.
Yeah, because we can't do anything we're talking about until they get through the four forges anyway, because that's where they left off. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like,
Unless they turn around and go, you know what? Never mind. We're going to put a pin in this, and then we're going to head right back. We will be back in about 5-ish weeks. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, but they've got those super cool super suits. I don't quite think they're going to go through and do that.
Yeah. We need some artists out there to draw those super suits, by the way. Hint, hint.
oh, there's a lot. There's a lot that the artists need to draw. I'm happy that, I know I'm not just saying this, I'm genuinely happy we've gotten more Whitebeard drawings, because for so long we have had no Whitebeard anything, and obviously that makes me sad. But
Except for
yes,
a really, really awesome sculpture that's like, oh gosh, Sid Vicious, you
That
are
was
a
a
legend.
really cool
oh, you mean the one that I'm gonna steal from his house as soon as I figure out how to do that, or buy it off of him? We'll see. But yes, no. Besides that, the sculpture, which he didn't even finish until very recently, in the last like month or so, he didn't finish it until then. We haven't had enough Whitebeard anything. But I'm just, if you had to pick, this is horrible, but if you had to pick, save Torvald and Diffa or save Jorel, who would you pick?
Oh, shoot.
I know it's tough. I didn't mean to do this to you.
Oh, God. Like, poetically, story-wise, it'd be Torvald and Diptha, just because of the whole fact that, hey, guess what? Yep, sorry, your life is pain. You're kind of bottom on the list. But I want Jeff to say that voice again. I want to go back to get to Jarl, so he's higher on the list than the other two. It's Torvald, we know you're timid, but hey, guess what? You got to work out how to get yourself out. We've waited that long.
Ingrid?
I think releasing Jorel from jail will actually probably be a lot easier than releasing Torvald and Diptha. So I'm going to go with Jorel just because while you're in Turles, might as well kill two birds with one stone. Get it over with. It'll be easy. Just thunderstep in, thunderstep out. Be done.
Lily Double Stuck fan says Jorel's in jails it's the party's fault that Joral's in jail. I just want to argue potentially that it is the party's fault that Torvald's even in prison too. I mean, he was the one who was helping them, and it's his fault he didn't get the warden in the first place. I mean, Torvald, man, I stand by. He's one of the most unappreciated people in this whole story. But,
Like the other part as well is, did the party miss their opportunity to release Torvald?
Yes,
when they were at the orc camp?
probably.
Yeah.
They've had 3, I think, different opportunities they could have saved or gone back and helped Torvald, and they were just like, nah.
It is a bit that way.
We're gonna go chill with the dwarves instead, which I was fine with, but it's just really sad.
Just sliding doors moments, really, isn't it?
It kind of is. So let me ask you this then, Dave. What are you looking forward to the most? What are not your predictions per se, but what are you looking forward to in the story the most? Is it the 4 former forges or?
Okay, I'm going to have one selfish one, and I'm going to have one kind of overall. Yeah, this is where I'm looking forward to the story going. I want to see what the riddle is, or what the. I'm going to stick with riddle. What the riddle is as far as the 4 former forges and how operating those works. Because I have it's not going to be a battle. It is going to be there is a problem to solve. My very, very selfish one is when they finally get Kybuk Super Smoker installed onto the Bardo.
Because people don't know. Well, explain why that is your personal one.
Okay, so with that particular one, and it kind of ties into one of my most favourite moments in the show as well. So Civ, or Jared Kajak, goes through just after the episode where he is boiling meat within an inch of his life. Kybuk, we know that is not the way to go through and preserve meat, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Literally goes through and had that conversation with Kybuk. I know this, I know it. Civ doesn't. That's basically where that was. And goes through and basically challenged Discord, hey, somebody needs to write a Force of Good card for it. So, okay, and I did. So I went and wrote the card and then submitted it. Jeff in the end approves it, and then it gets read by Morgan Peter Brown, who So yeah, it's kind of that whole. I'm literally on that Saturday morning walking across my lounge room. I'm so wrapped up in the moment, I can't think of where I'm actually sitting. Going, oh, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. All right, great, I've got to hit pause now and go to cricket.
Oh, that is so cute, though. I can only imagine, though, seriously, like how exciting it is to have your cards and especially the way your story played out. Just how exciting it must be for that to be on the show.
Yeah, it was just the whole way that it kind of comes together is quite wonderful.
Didn't you have more than one card get submitted, or is that yours? I thought you had more than one.
No, I have submitted cards, but that was my first ever card that I submitted. I can't even remember if any of the other ones have come through. I'm more of just kind of looking at very, very recent moments that were happening from about that point on and got inspired to submit cards. But no, I don't think any of them have come out.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of you because I have written only and submitted one card, and it was right after. Shockingly, it's not a Whitebeard card. It was I was so in love with Saugus, and it was right after the bird story. And I thought I was so unique, and I was like, it was a Force of Evil card, obviously, but I wrote a Force of Evil card saying like one of the party members gets distracted trying to think of what bird it was, and they I don't know, missed their turn in battle. It was something, and then a similar card game came on the show, and I was finding out that hundreds of people submitted some similar stuff on that topic, and I was like, at least I'm not the only one that found that moment amazing. But
yes.
I can only imagine how exciting it is. So that is your I wouldn't say selfish. That's your personal goal.
It is my personal goal.
That's an exciting one. Don't get me wrong too. You more of your cards could be in that pile that we haven't seen.
It is a very scary thought for Jeff to have to sift through that particular spreadsheet because it will just continue to grow and grow and grow as more moments happen in the stream.
I know. He should just hire a team. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his solution is, but I
I
feel bad for
literally
him.
think it is the caffeine team going through and scouring through them and going, okay, this is what we think is pretty good. Here's your small list that you can go through and say yes or no to.
Right? Yeah, for sure. So that was really cute, though. Is there another favorite moment or another moment that you want to tell everybody that you love, or a moment you think that is worth saying, like that holds a special place for you?
I'm literally going through and just kind of things that come up in the community again. So it's I just keep getting the image of Jeff kind of going through and mounting the chair and kind of whipping during the flock battle. And the flock battle itself and the way it came together was just brilliant. But Gorbin played going through and memeing it, and lots of people going through and referring back to it.
It's a good moment.
Kind of different bits and pieces that the way the community have at times gone through and gotten in and behind force of good, force of evil, and those different bits and pieces, or just mine's a lot more of the interaction with people. I am literally I'm with Lord Green, and I'm a servant of James Quillis. I am not on a team.
Well, you are on a team. You're just one of you're on Lord Grain's disciple bandwagon.
I'm a disciple of the Master Lord Quillis.
I love that, though. I love that. And Grain, I love the disciples. The disciples of James Quillis can chill with Team Force of Evil any day. Because in a weird way, you guys are by default a fan of his Patreon, by default, in a weird, strange way.
Patron, yes.
Yeah, what did I say?
I'm loving the way that you're saying Patreon at the moment.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, yes. That's a company.
I get a pass today because I don't feel good. Yes. Lord Squishy Sloppy Goat. Yeah. I love that. I love that. I'm sure Grain will be very happy when he reads this, for sure. So it seems like really that the community really is a huge, 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 huge part for you. And
It is. It's literally how I kind of really fell into it. It was just jumping into the Discord, having a chat with Joey, with yourself and many of the others, and we've got this really beautiful show and this really beautiful supportive community that allows people to go and try things, that allows people to display their talents as well, and that will also go through and get in and help people and refine their talents a bit too and push them forward. So it's a really great place that we've got here.
I agree. Everybody give a heart for this community. Yay!
It is awesome.
It really is, and I couldn't agree more. And I feel like I express it a lot too. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be so involved. This show, this stream, wouldn't exist if this community wasn't so awesome. And I really do. I agree. I think we really piggyback off of each other, and we feed each other's energies. And even like coming into the show, it's just so beautiful. And I'm really like it. I didn't think. Even I wasn't really aware just how much the community influenced your love for the show, but I think that's really beautiful. And Lily Dumblesuck fan, yes, we are not a community, we are a family.
Oh! Yes, amen to that.
For the win.
Before I gush and probably cry, half because of emotions, half because of not feeling well, thank you again, Dave, for being on here. Is there any last questions, comments, or concerns that you want to before we wrap this up?
I'm pretty.
Because I can talk to you all day.
We've proved that more than a few times.
we have, exactly. No lie. So yeah. Anything else besides how beautiful this community is? Or are we just going to gush our way to the end of the show?
There's a good chance we will gush our way to the end of the show. Sean Patrick, you are an awesome DM. Thank you so much as well. I got to finally go through and play a little bit of D&D through this community as well. So it's quite interesting and fun.
Yeah, it is, and I'm glad we're all you and I are definitely learning D&D through this community as well. We're just stepping it one step into being experts one day, hopefully.
I know enough to get me into trouble. That's about the main thing I can say with my ability with D&D.
I think that's your philosophy in life, though, to be fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you again, seriously, for joining us, and it was beautiful, and I'm so happy, and really, we do have the best community, and I want you to know that you are part of it, and you are definitely a shining pillar in this community, and we're all glad to have you, Dave, so thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ah! Oh my gosh, what a beautiful way to end the show. Ingrid, I love you. I love
too.
I love you all. I have nothing else to say. I'm emotional, and that was great. So can't wait to stay tuned to tomorrow to see what happens. Are they going to try to pull something with the hag? Is my man going to appreciate the fact they recruited for him? I guess apparently he told them to. My bad. But is Whitebeard going to be in a good mood at the end of the day? I'll try to calm him down before the party comes back, but who knows? Uh,
Or
yeah,
is Sloppy Goat's going to come visit James and somebody notices?
I hope so. Will he who shall not be named make an appearance next episode? Stay tuned. And as always, guys, on top of loving each other, help us all spread the word. Humankind, be
Be
both.
both.
Ah.